The next concept was I started to return things that didn't belong to me. My mom said recently, a few months ago, I'll give you 10 grand if you sell your motorcycle. Because they old school Korean, they hate my motorcycle. Growing up, I wanted a dirt bike in the 80s. Everyone had dirt bikes. They said no. Every person I dated, motorcycles are dangerous. So yeah, they are. So like no. Got married, no motorcycle. And then so when I got divorced, the first thing I did is I went and bought a little Ducati. And if I was to take my mom's 10 grand and sell my motorcycle, I'm carrying her fear. So the action of returning something that doesn't belong to me, which is my mom's fear, is me riding my motorcycle every day because I enjoy it. If I one day don't enjoy it anymore, then that's okay, right? But right now, I enjoy it, and it's my little meditation machine, and that's my solid self, right? So by continuing to ride, I'm returning my mom's fear back to her. The question to you is, what are you carrying that doesn't belong to you? Because this also put cracks in your container. And it could be abstract. It could be resentment. It could be blueprints from your parents. It could be shoulds. It could be, if you were a box owner once and you had this kind of identity, or you were, the coaching, and you had, there may be residue from that you're carrying that doesn't belong to you anymore in your new evolution. I don't know, but we all carry stuff and that we're not aware of. And I think they could turn into pebbles in our shoe. So the question is, what does it look like to return that? Whether you're returning it to someone. For you, your husband, it sounds like he's got a lot of shoulds on what love should look like, and how, what would it look like for you to return that back to him? You don't have to answer. I'm just saying, just think about, what would that look like? Well, that means I'm going to come to this crazy Korean person's retreat. That means I'm going to, whatever it is, in action, because I think that's what's important is, not just thought, but what's the execution piece? It means I'm going to lose my job, or I'm going to leave my job. So that example of me playing DVDs as an intervention, that was me returning the clinical generic intervention, filing cabinet, exercises. I didn't want to carry that. I didn't believe in it. And so that was me returning that to the system by bringing in DVDs, right? So that helps the container, the life container. And the last one, which is my favorite, is I believe as we grow up and we become adults, we get into relationships, we pay taxes, we disconnect with parts of us that we have, that we actually like, that made us solid, right? And so when I think about this, for me, when I think, and I don't like the word happy, I think it's kind of a bumper sticker, but I think about when did I feel the most alive? And then like the first image that comes to my mind is, when I was 12, breakdancing, and I lost myself doing windmills, and I felt very alive on cardboard, boombox and windbreakers. I was part of a breakdancing crew because I was a runt. I felt very protected. I didn't get bullied. And so it doesn't mean today as a 51-year-old to start breakdancing. It means to tap into the spirit of that 12-year-old that you have locked away, right? And so what happened was, after my divorce, part of me getting a motorcycle, or actually the CrossFit was a big part of my life, because the gymnastic movements, so the muscle ups, even like burpees and handstand push-ups, they connected me to the 12-year-old, that was breakdancing. So that was like my version of connecting to the 80s. There was a reunion there, right? And I always say, like, the self-help sometimes is more about a reunion than anything else, But it doesn't necessarily mean to repeat what you did. It can, but it just means to connect to the spirit of that person that you have left or lost. I think relationships probably the most, marriages and relationships, because now we're building something that is bigger than us, and because now we're contributing to something else. Parenting too, of course. It's tricky because in those spaces it's very easy to disconnect to parts of us that we really liked about ourselves. So a lot of my clients who are married or who are parents, they're like a lot of their answers are things, who they were, or things they did before that. And so I asked them what that looks like, what that reunion looks like. And then I try to help them execute it. And then I asked them what that feels like, So that was a big piece of my journey, is connecting, and I call it unlocking your code. It's connecting to parts of you that you have disconnected with. So if you're doing these three things, if you're pulling from your solid self, if you are returning things that no longer belong to you, and you are connecting to parts of you that you have disconnected with. So like pistons of an engine, right? If you are doing these, I believe what's created, the momentum that's created from that is kind of like this force field, like a Star Wars, like science, like a force field. And I think it protects you, and as long as you're doing those things, and they can be scary, you start creating this life container that now starts to promote. It's your greenhouse. And then I think what happens is, it's happened to me, it gets bigger than you, and then you have a responsibility to get out of your own way, right? So then you become a conduit to help other people, you become a catalyst in other people's lives. I mean, coaching is a great example of that, following passion. Then what's unique about you as a coach, sharing that gift, which is courageous, and suddenly you build community. And then you look back and you've helped hundreds of people because you're in your solid self and you're connecting to the spirit of who you used to be, I think it's our responsibility as human beings. I think because then what you leave behind is not only an amazing story, but you then just become a catalyst to all these collisions, And so, I don't know, I feel like if you focus on that, as almost like a human responsibility, like that's my job here on earth, you're like limitless, because you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen for me next year. When to be a licensed therapist and to take the exam, I knew that I wasn't going to pass because I was a C student, and the SAT scores, like I just got the few hundred for putting your name on the thing, pretty much like that kind of thing, and didn't even get into UC schools, ADD, ADHD, all the stuff. And so when it came down to taking this giant, 9-hour exam, I think it was 2 or 3 exams, and it's one of those tests where it's multiple choice. And there's a couple answers right. What's the best answer? Mm-hmm. It's that kind of shit. So I remember taking it, and you answer, you pass or fail instantly. It's all electronic. And I was thinking to myself halfway through it, okay, it's obviously to pass this. Fuck, what am I gonna do? Do I go study? Like, I was just thinking about how am I gonna be a therapist legit if I can't get through this? And I was, I gotta go study more. And I remember. I knew 100% I failed. I mean, I'm pretty much just kind of guessing. Like, I don't even remember the exam. I don't remember one question. And I typed in the answer to the last question, and I hit, did I pass? And it said pass. And I started crying. I got chills. I started crying, and I was like, oh my God, this isn't my doing. In that moment, I felt very close to God. And I remember crying on the way home, thinking, oh my God, now, I feel like I've been given a mission. I've been given something, like a path. It was like the biggest green light spiritually I've ever felt, where it's like, okay, I'm giving you this baton, you have to run with it now. John Kim would not have passed that exam. I magically passed the exam. I don't know how I did it. I didn't even study for it. People have like take courses to study, and do anything. And I don't know. I just felt like that was, and I think there's a lot of signs like that for us, where we are reminded that you have a responsibility to, whether it's leaving a marriage, or it's to build a company, or to coach, or pursue other things that feel really honest to you. But because of fear and stuff, we kind of ignore. I could have easily. So if I failed that, I don't think I would have done it. I think I would have, like people who don't pass the bar, and then they don't pass it again, they're done. I think I would have been like, I would have maybe taken it again, didn't pass, and I would have been like, all right, what am I gonna do with my life? Anyway, so it's led to, just meeting thousands of people, and it's led to one of the things that I did when I failed as a screenwriter is I stamped a failed writer on my forehead and said, I'm never gonna write again. I couldn't make it as a writer. And then, so when I started blogging, I didn't notice at the time, I was connecting to the part of me that I have locked into a hope chest, which is you're a failed writer. So when I was blogging, I didn't think blogging was writing, because I thought writing was I thought you were writing to sell something. So when you're blogging, you're writing for yourself. And then I realized, holy shit, I'm actually writing again. And then I started write for me instead of for other people, and then that's what got it traction, And then I started writing self-help books, and I still feel like a fraud. I still feel like hopped the fence to get to a party I wasn't invited to, But what's interesting is I get paid to write these books. I get advances like screenwriting, and they're kind of the same. But the false belief here is this isn't success. This is not real writing. You're still a failed, So pseudo versus solid, and it's stuff that over the years I've kind of like sit with and all that. But yeah, solid self, returning what's not yours to own, and connecting to parts of you that you have disconnected with. As a lifestyle. That I would say those, and I like picked, of course there's tons of things I've learned, but those are kind of the broad strokes. I think when I look back, those are the three things I did almost every day, and then like a life